Hey everybody, this is John from Models by John Michael. If you could go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel, that would be great. I promise it doesn't cost you anything. The other thing you can do is follow me over on Facebook and Instagram. Check out some of the stuff I got posted over there. So in this video, I'm going to do a build review for the model I just completed. It is the Fw190. It's a weekend edition Eduard kit, and it's a 1/48 scale. A few words about the kit before I show you the model. The kit itself is wonderfully engineered. I would say about on par with Tamiya engineering. I mean, it goes together very well. There aren't any parts you really have to fiddle with or fight with to get it to sit right. Yeah, the instructions are very well laid out. There really isn't anything that I have to complain about the assembly of the model kit itself. With the kit, you do have a couple of different options. I think that the kit was originally intended to have several different versions of the Fw190 because you get a couple of different props, you get a couple of different cockpits, you get different undercarriages that you can do. So you can do like fuel tanks or a bomb on the undercarriage. The props, they have they're like wider, flatter props, versus the normal narrower ones. And then of course I think you can do wheels up or wheels down configuration in this on this particular kit as well. And the kit itself, because it's so wonderfully engineered, is one of my new favorite kits. I would recommend this kit to anybody in a heartbeat. This is my first Fw190 that I've ever done. There are a few firsts that I actually did on this kit that I've never really done before. And I think the kit turned out beautifully. So yeah, without further ado, I guess I'll just go ahead and show you what she looks like. There you go. And I'm telling you, this kit was just, I just can't get over how much I enjoyed building this thing. It was a lot of fun to do. So one of the firsts that I did was the modeling on the sides of the fuselage. I'd never done that before, and let me turn off this light next to me here, kind of give you an idea. There we go. You can see that. I mean, the modeling on the side of the fuselage here, and the same thing on the other side. That was a lot of fun to do. It was very interesting. The way that I did that was I used the smallest needle that I have for my airbrush. It's a Pache airbrush. It's the V10, I think. It's the VL series airbrush. But use the smallest needle that I had and just kind of very lightly went over the side of the fuselage to give it that modeling effect. I'm sure, I think it turned out pretty well for my first attempt. But it's one of those things that the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. So I'm sure that as I build more German aircraft and I have more opportunity to do modeling, I can do stuff like this. So yeah, I mean that was one of the first that I ever did on this kit. And then another first was just dealing with the infamous, I guess you could say now, Eduard decals. However, I think these decals on this kit were not the ones where you have the extra layer or skin or transfer skin or whatever that you have to take off of these. Because I tried to do that and nothing came up. So I don't, and I looked and I tried to do a little bit of research and try to figure out if I had those particular decals, but nothing. I couldn't really find out. Although the only thing I did find was somewhere in the summer of 2020 is when they converted over to those other types of decals. This was made in 2020, but obviously I don't know if it was made in January 2020 or July 2020. No idea. So I just kind of went with it and left the decals as they were onto the aircraft. So, and then of course these stripes here, these are not decals, those were actually painted on. And the other thing I did too is I really tried to get as close as I could to the RLM colors. So like on the bottom here of the nose, so like the yellow identifier that's on the front, the bottom nose of a lot of Luftwaffe aircraft, that's not a straight yellow. It's kind of an orangey type yellow. And I forget the RLM designation. You can look it up. But I had to hunt around a little bit. And that's the other thing too. If you want to get something historically accurate, sometimes you have to do a little bit of hunting to figure out what the color is. I mean, and I did this with all of the colors on this aircraft. I went through and I looked at all of the RLM colors and then found out how to mix them because I used Tamiya paint. And of course, Tamiya is really good at certain colors and certain things, but not so good at others. So a lot of times you have to mix different things together in order to get the appropriate color, or at least get close to the color that you want. So I did that with this yellow especially, and then on the back here, I did that with this orange and red color, or red and yellow color. This is kind of an orangey red. It's not straight red. I mean, I would almost call it like engine block orange maybe, or engine block red. So it's not, it's more orangey than it is red. To put straight red on it would have actually been not accurate. And then of course, the color underneath, which is kind of a, grayish, bluish type color. For the bottom of the aircraft, the bomb even too, I looked up, because I believe this is like a 500-pound or 550 kilogram bomb, or however the Germans designated those. I looked up the different bomb colors, and so it turns out that they had quite a range of colors, even for their bombs. So it was like, this tan color here that I chose. They had, the dark greens, they had lighter greens, they had color, like similar to the color of the belly of the aircraft. So bombs, and it depends on when the bomb was from in the war. So like early war, a lot of them were like that dark green color, and then later on in the war, a lot of them, they changed color. So it really depends on when you're trying to build your aircraft from. So I went with, it was like 1943, 44, somewhere around in there, and it looks like, as far as I could tell with some internet searching, was that a lot of them were like at least the 550 kilogram bombs were that tan color. So I just chose the tan, and like I said, trying to be accurate, or as accurate as I could be. And then even with the camouflage on here, you got that gray, that dark gray, and then you got the green kind of mixed in, so it's kind of a subtle, it's more of a subtle color. And the modeling on the side, and then like on the top here, so the nose is more of a gray, and then you got this green color, and then it goes gray again. All of that, I try to be as accurate as I could be with, doing the colors on this thing. So it was a challenge, and I pushed myself to do it. I mean, and of course I don't know if you guys ever go through this, but sometimes you have that, desire maybe, or maybe not desire, but maybe you start feeling a little lazy, and you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to paint it this color and be done with it. I went through that a little bit, and I tried, and I resisted it. I didn't let that part of me win, and I stuck with my guns, and I stayed with stayed true, or as true as I could, to the RLM colors that are on this particular FW190. Even the propeller. I mean, I thought the propellers on these were black. Well, this is actually a dark green. It's like the black green color is what this is. So even that was painted the appropriate color. So yeah, it's just going through the motions of getting it right and doing it right and taking your time, and because that's one of the reasons why we build models, right? Is to take our time and to get it right and to make these things look as good as we can get them to look. So yeah, I would encourage you, like, if you're building an aircraft, take your time with it, because the payoff in the end is going to be fantastic, and everybody will look at your model and say, hey, great job. I mean, not that you're necessarily looking for approval of others, but it also makes you feel good too, till you can look at the model and go, all right, I did a great job on this thing. It looks fantastic. So just a little bit of word of encouragement for you. So anyway, I'll just show you this model one more time. There she is. And I am over the moon at how this thing turned out. I think she looks amazing. And I hope you do too. And if you're looking for a nice FW190 to build, the Eduard kit, I mean, is the FW, or at least the Eduard Weekend Edition. This is the first Eduard kit I've ever put together. And this thing's been sitting in my stash for 4 years, maybe longer. And I was just like, I wanted to do something different. It's been a long time since I built a German aircraft, and so this was the one that I took out. The only other German aircraft that I have is the 124th Stuka, but that thing's a monster. It's big, and I really, at the moment, don't really have the time, or not really the time, I don't really have the space. So once I put it together to display it, so I gotta wait till I have a proper place to display that thing before I can put it together. So anyway, guys, so the next kit that I've already started it, and I don't really have anything to show you on it, but the next one that I'm doing is this FRF Wildcat. It's a Tamiya kit, as you can see, 1/48 scale, pretty simple. I did a review, or I did a video talking about. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see it in the videos. But talking about selecting a model according to skill level. This is one of the ones I recommended to a newer modeler, or somebody who just wants something that's not necessarily quick and easy, but just easy to throw together kind of thing. And I think I'm going to do this model as like heavily weathered. Not 100% certain on that, so, but I might do that because I haven't done one, at least in a while, that is like heavily weathered. I mean, this one is, looks fairly new, right? There's not a whole lot of wear and tear on it, and there's no dents in the paint or dings anywhere or anything like that. So I think I want to do an old beat up warplane for my next one. So we'll see if I change my mind, or if I decide to stick with it or not. So anyway, guys, all I got for this video. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much. And with that, I'll just sign off and say, happy modeling.